Hey UConn Nation, it's KK Arnold here. If you're looking for the latest UConn women's basketball content, go subscribe to listen up to Phil and Ryan. Go Huskies!
It's been a while, Ryan, and we are back. Phil and Ryan on Listen Up. Thank you, KK, as always. What, about a week, Ryan? So we are way overdue. Thank you. You know, everybody could be anywhere in the world right now listening to anything else, everywhere else, but they're here with us. So for the people that come through on this video and every video in the past and future, we thank you a lot for your support. For these UConn Huskies, Ryan, the way too early top 25 from ESPN, but a couple things to go over, some house rules, we'll call them, right? Some house rules. First of all, I heard from my good friend Doug Womp, all the way in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. He said, Phil, send me the link after this podcast. So, Doug, you will get this link after it is posted. We appreciate his support. Let Pennsylvania know up north, it's headed that direction. Let them know what it's about. UConn Huskies women's basketball. Ryan, and not only that, I almost forgot the picture I wanted to share with you. I'm talking about everything else except for these three beautiful people in front of us. Ryan, I know you wanted to shout out to Paige Beckers. I won't even say anymore. That's a beautiful picture right there. Congratulations to these three for graduating. And I don't know, Ryan, if that's the same. Is that the same arena that you and I were in November, or the XL?
Yeah, I think it is Gamble Pavilion because I
Uh,
recognize those Yukon Husky jerseys hanging up in the
there
background
you
there.
go. So congratulations. I know you wanted to shout out to AZ Fudd, Aaliyah Edwards, and then of course Paige Beckers for graduating. So yes, that's that. Ryan, I know that you had the t-shirts as well before we get into the top 25, the way too early top 25. So what is going to happen each week, guys, where we come on, we're going to throw some trivia question at you. We're going to throw now. This is tough, right, Ryan? Because you want to explain to them, please don't Google the answer. You know, please don't, because everybody now, you just can't walk anymore and talk to people. Everybody is, like, look, like looking down at their phone, wondering what's going on. So don't Google the answer. Try to come up with it off the top of your head and post it as quick as possible to the comment section. And we will pick a winner. Hopefully we can go through and get them right. Don't fault us if we are wrong. The quickest to post the answer each week, and we will throw you guys a free t-shirt. Ryan, do you have them to throw them up to the camera and sample a sample size? And
Yeah,
you
I mean,
tell us, are they all one size or different colors and what?
I think we got a bunch of different sizes. I mean, I got a darker gray, purple, uh,
Uh,
yellow. We got red. This is the one we're wearing, the blue one.
okay.
Yeah, and I think a lighter white color as well. So we
Okay.
got all types of different sizes, all types of different colors. Of course, we can get different colors too as we get new shirts coming in. So yeah, I think I'm excited to give some shirts away and finally do a couple giveaways. We've been talking about it for quite a while. So yeah, I'm excited.
Uh, I know we want to thank your mom, Joyce, for this, but do we know it sounds awful. Do we know the real person to credit here for these shirts? I just wanted to throw her name out there. If you don't have it, that's fine, but or a company. And we want to thank them for all their hard work. So I don't know if you have it or not.
Yeah, it's Kesner Graphics, I believe.
Okay, so thank them for coming through and supporting Listen Up. All right, Ryan. So let's turn the page and get down to business. What do we have today? We have the way too early top 25. And I think to be honest with you, my quick takes, I would put UConn at number 2. All right, first of all, USC came in at 2. South Carolina, no argument, at number 1. UConn needs to prove that they can beat South Carolina, first of all, before they move into that number 1 spot. My biggest takeaway, though, Ryan, is, again, this is going back to, this is not when you and I were in high chairs eating baby food, right? This is a lot of different times, and the UConn Huskies are really going to have to earn it. Now, I'm not saying those previous teams didn't earn it, but They're going to really have to earn it if they're going to make their way to the top and ride off into the sunset with Geno, with this group. Now, I know this is big talk, Ryan, but at the end of the day, credit ESPN for this. It says here, if Beckers plays at this level again, Fudd, Ducharme, and Griffin can stay on the floor. All right. The Huskies could win their first national title since 2016. And the more I thought about it, a lot has changed in the last couple months, right? The more I thought about it, Ryan, I'm like, I'm going to turn to Ryan for this one. Out of all, we get it. UConn is full of great players every year. As for men's now, right? Men's and women's. I really, really strongly back this, and I hope you do too. Out of all, since we've been covering the team, this is the best chance for Paige Beckers to capture, you know what, since she's been there. I that's how I feel.
Yeah, probably since her freshman year. I'd say the freshman year was definitely a really good chance, and unfortunately they couldn't obviously, finish it off in the championship game. But yeah, there's certainly been a lot of things that have happened since ESPN's initial release of these way too early rankings. Of course, they always bring it out a couple minutes after the national champion is crowned. But like I said, there's been a lot of things. We had Tara Vanderveer retiring. Of course, a lot of players transferring out. And we have a bunch of schools that changed conferences. And I wanted to go over all of them really quickly, like Oklahoma and Texas joining the SEC. Oregon, USC, UCLA, and Washington join the Big Ten. The Big 12 added Arizona, Arizona State, Colorado, and Utah. The ACC is adding California, SMU, and Stanford. So we definitely have a lot to get used to. It's just so weird to think of all those schools transferring or changing conferences. So, but this is the updated top 25 rankings, all of that. After all that happened within the last couple months, and of course, like you said, there's no surprise that South Carolina is standing at number one. They're going to be the deepest team in the country. They did lose Cardoso, but Staley has many players returning and also continued recruiting over the summer. USC at number two, which also, in my opinion, isn't really a surprise, as they probably have the best trio in the country with Watkins, Arifin, and Van Olhoffen. Not to mention they have three freshmen ranked in the top 20 coming in this year. So I think USC is definitely going to be pretty good again next season. And we also have, of course, the Yukon Huskies coming in at number three, which, UConn's also going to be a pretty deep team this year. We have the number one recruit coming in, of course, and Sarah Strong, very excited for her coming to Stores, and former Ivy League Player of the Year, Caitlin Chen, to replace Nika Mule. So, if the Huskies can turn around their bad luck of continuous injuries, I think we may see UConn in the national championship game. I definitely don't think it's off the table at all. And Notre Dame is at number four, and the Irish are a team that I also expect to be very good again. A couple highly recruited freshmen with a couple veteran players returning. So watch out for the Fighting Irish in Notre Dame. And rounding out the top five are the UCLA Bruins. Now, the Bruins roster will definitely be look a little different this season, but they still have a lot of talent on that team. Yeah, but there's a couple schools that also went up and down in the rankings, but that is the top five, and I'd say it's a pretty solid top five teams.
Yeah, thank you for that, Ryan. And we want to credit you, not only you, but Bryant Carpenter, staff writer for CT Insider, because you just did your style of this. Basically, you covered, he said, the new ranking emerges in the wake of the WNBA draft, player transfers, coaching retirements, and coaching hires that have transpired over the past month. So, yeah, I appreciate you breaking down your perspective of your side of things. Yeah, Jason, we're going to get into his comment. We always do, right? Whether that's the beginning or the end. I want to get your take on this because I thought about this young lady days ago, and I just thought, man, we talk about Beckers and we talk about, Strong, the number one recruit coming to UConn. But it seems like to me, this name might be just flying under the radar just a little bit. And I want to have just one episode this summer, specifically talking about her, how she can come back, how she will come back, and how she needs to come back to impact this team, or else, not saying it will be trouble, but I think that they really might need no pressure, right? They might need a lot from her. And again, I get it, coming off an injury, it's very questionable. Jason D'Amico says, I am really focused on AZ this summer. Her comeback would depend on so many factors that are seen and unseen. If she comes back strong, UConn will have a fight on their hands between Ashland, KK, and Aubrey. I'm grabbing the popcorn, boys. Peace.
Yeah, it is kind of hard to believe that UConn did all of that last season without AZ Fudd for a majority of the season. So yeah, AZ Fudd's definitely had a lot of impact on this team for the games she's been able to play in. And of course, when Paige Beckers went down, AZ definitely stepped up in a really big way. So we're all hoping AZ can come back healthy this season because we've seen how good of a player that she is and the scoring threat that she poses, on the offensive end for the Huskies. So I really hope she can come back healthy and have more of those 20, 25, 30-point performances that we've seen because the Huskies can definitely use all they can get on the offensive end.
Bill Nichols, Maryland. That's right, Ryan. Maryland has gone backwards these past years, signing Amari. Well, okay. He put something I'm not going to read on air, but signing Amari DeBerry shows why. Also tired of hearing about HVL. Now she's at a secondary level women's basketball school, hoping for great things? Question mark. And I'm not faulting anyone for this, but I'm not hearing enough about Sailor Poffenbarger. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm not saying that just because she's in Maryland now, Ryan, but come on, man. I mean, a former Husky, we're on a Husky podcast. Like, come on, Ryan, open your ears, open your mouth. I'm telling you, I'm no disrespect to you. I'm just saying. But I mean, you and I basically went on our phone conversation before each podcast just minutes, right? Minutes ago. And we're talking and we agreed, correct me if I'm wrong, we agreed that, man, Maryland, strong chance they could end up in that top 25, the ranking list from ESPN. But then Bill Nichols, Ryan, says Maryland has gone backwards.
Well, I'd say they definitely took a step back last season, and perhaps the last couple of seasons, but I think this year they will make a bounce back. They will make a return definitely to the top 25, and I wouldn't be surprised if, I see them in the top 15. But like we said before we went on, we were pretty surprised to not see Maryland in these way too early rankings that ESPN posted. I feel like they were definitely left out and should have been in the top 25. But yeah, I mean, like we said during a couple of these episodes during the off season, Maryland's gotten about, I think around 6 players in the transfer portal along with Sailor and Amari. And I know Coach Freese wants to have a better season. I know last year was a disappointing season, so I think the Terps will be back. I think they're going to be a pretty hungry team. They got a lot of size, so yeah, I think they're going to be pretty good again next season.
We'll have to remember this podcast we're putting out Wednesday, the 8th of May, all right, 2024. Hopefully, I'm looking back at this next March, and I'm saying, Ryan, go back and look at that last video because I think Maryland women's basketball is getting slept on right now. Okay, that's what I think. Let's go over to one more. Now, Ryan, I think this one will make you smile finally. if we want, this person says, if we want, well, shout out Mark Hathaway. Mark Hathaway. If we want to continue having the 3G offense, then Chen is great. If we just want a backup, then Chen is great. I see no downside to getting her on the squad. That's what we said, Ryan. So finally, one person agrees with us, and we appreciate him for coming through the pod as well.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see what Caitlin Chen's role is. And like I said before, it's kind of impossible to tell, really until the first regular season game that starts this season. But, like I said, I mean, she can start in a couple games. She can come off the bench. I really don't think it matters, but I think she's just going to find a way to be impactful, whatever capacity that Gino allows her to to be in the role, whatever role she's in this season for the Huskies. But either way, like I said, I think she's going to find a way to be impactful for this team for the whole entire season. And I definitely can't watch and wait to see what she can provide for this Husky team.
Phil and Ryan, listen up again. The way too early top 25. Thank you to CT Insider, to ESPN, and thank you everyone for coming through. It's been a while, Ryan. We have to get back on, hopefully at least one more time before the end of the week. And it's never too late, or in my case, too early to be whoever you want to be. That's a straight up quote, Ryan. All right. So it's never too late, Ryan. We are fully invested in this team. March 2025 is coming faster than you think. Phil and Ryan on Listen Up.